Okay, everyone, now we're going to show you how to use your seat. So the seat has a couple key features. The single most important feature of the seat, well, okay, there's two single most important features of the seat. The first one is a seat. You actually get to sit in it, and you can sit in it with any one of the three-point seat belts. You just sort of pull on them, and they're ratcheting seat belts, and you can buckle yourself or your kids in. The seat also does have two ISOFIX latch connection points for car seats. You'll notice you can fit three people on, plus these really cool flexible headrests. You will notice you can fit three people on this seat. It's got to be three really small kids that get along really well. But you can theoretically get three people on this. You cannot get three car seats in here, even if one doesn't require the latch points. There's just not enough room. Number one most important feature of the seat is sitting in it. The number two first most important feature of the seat is sleeping in it. How do I turn this thing into a bed? Well, let me show you. So first of all, there's two little felt tabs in here. You can see these here. And really just lift up on them, flip down, and that kind of releases this. Then you pull this seat forward. And then there's a giant lever over here. You just lift up on this lever, and then you pull the seat down. And then depending on the position of the back, this was already in the back, you have your bed. I think you've seen in other videos, this is actually super comfortable. My number one tip, if you're not using the pop top, grab the mattress from the pop top. It is a little unwieldy to like yank it down, but once you get it down, it actually fits perfectly. It's a little like 2-inch mattress top around this. So how do I turn this back into a seat? You just reverse all of that. You lift up here, listen for the giant click, and then you just flip this back into place. Now, right now, if you're gonna have passengers in here, now is when you wanna pull the seatbelt receivers out and sort of leave them out, because I'm going to leave them down, but if you were going to use the seatbelts, you need that. And then you just flip back on these tabs, and it locks into place. And you have now seen the two most important features of the seat, sitting and sleeping. But there is a third feature to the seat, and this seat actually moves into two locations. Right now it's in the sleeping position. There's a second location you can move the seat into, which gives you a bit more cargo room in the back if you want. So to move it, and we don't recommend moving it a ton. And for our renters, we really don't recommend moving it because, like stuff gets in the tracks and you may not be as thorough cleaning it as an owner. But if you own the van, you're welcome to move the seat into the second location if you want. So this is actually these two knobs over here. These are both a brake and a anti-rattle device. So the seat, if you forget, right now it's locked, it's pushed in. You pull out to unlock it. But to be honest, like if it's unlocked, like the seat weighs 400 pounds. It's not going anywhere. Like this is an incredible piece of German engineering, and it's like just weighs and feels that way. But nonetheless, once you're in your position, you do want to like close that down. With these two knobs pulled all the way out, you want to lift up. And before you move the seat, it's a good idea to just double check the rails to make sure there's no rocks or anything in the way. And then you just kind of slide it. It's on bearings, so it moves forward. And I kind of like feel you'll see these holes in the track. So it fell into the hole, so now it's in its next location. So then I kind of just lock it into place. Oh, I missed the hole. So let's see now. I'm going to go, where is it? Find it. Oops. Just let it drop into place here. It'll kind of, there it is. That's the place. So this rail, you'll see it has some different shaped holes in it. So I just had to like feel for it to drop into the right hole with no give at all. This was not designed for this video to do this, but this was a great lesson in making sure it's in the right spot. And then lock it into place, and you're good to go. So it's safe to drive like this. You will lose a little bit of knee room for your third passenger if you are doing that. But for sleeping, it has to go back into the other location. So pull on both knobs all the way out, lift up the bar, and you'll know over time like where it kind of lands. You know, you feel it, but you can sort of like over time, you're like, oh yeah, it's when the front is lined up with this part of the cabinet or something like that. It's in there, push in to lock it in. And that's how you move the seat. Now we're into the sort of longer tail features of the seat. There are two more things. Number one, there's the table boom. And we'll have a separate video on the table, but that's what this is. Now this over time, and we will talk about this, this is the one thing over time you might have to tighten this nut. Like the more you use the table, this might loosen up, and if you ever hear a rattle, a lot of times it will be coming from there. Very easy. There's also a drawer under the seat. Now the drawer can be a little sticky and a little challenging to use sometimes, but you just pull in on the two knobs and you pull out. Now this drawer has, you know, some things in here. Noticeably the table leg is in here. And this is a rental van actually, so you see some of our rental supplies in here. Now you can actually also access the the drawer from flipping the seat forward, or from the rear of the van, you can actually reach behind. The other thing with the seat, I'll show you. Now that's locked in, and make sure that's locked into place. There's two other features to the seat, to this front of the seat. Number one, the drawer can come out. It's like a household drawer. I'm not going to show you, but it's very easy to come off the tracks. If you wanted to carry skis or something long through there, that can come out. You just put the drawer aside. There's also this little knob here. This little knob here, you can unscrew and it will remove this plate here. And it's like a European ski thing. Although with the bump out, you're not going to get the full length, but you can get some long items in there through the rear of the van while still leaving the drawer in place. So that's the rear seat. I think I've covered everything off on there. A little longer than I anticipated on that video, but it's a really, really wonderful seat. Super comfortable to sleep on, super safe to sit on, and with a couple other extra features. Thanks.